Testing, testing. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tuning of all ages. It is the DRUG here once again, and we are back. Come on, get ready. Are you ready for some football? It is time for the picks this week once again, and I am not alone, as he's been my co-pilot the last few weeks. It is my good buddy Dave.
Whoop whoop. What up?
Not to be confused with that terrible show on FX going, my name is Dave, because I hate that show. But we are here for week number 7, talking about the Cardinals-Cowboys game, unfortunately. Nor because of that, I would not be able to do my... Because I did miss that game. I cannot justifiably give out the awards because I missed one game, and unfortunately they don't really show replays of the Monday night game. I know someone could say, well, you could have watched highlights, yeah, but highlights were just going to show mostly the touchdown passes. It's not really going to tell me exactly how both teams were on the field, so... No one gets the best or worst this week, which for Baker Mayfield, he should be happy about that because he was going to get my worst QB award. But week 6, there are no awards this week. But don't worry, that shouldn't. Hopefully, I'll be able to watch all the games this week with nothing going wrong. Hopefully, no one gets sick in the family. Knock on wood. But anyway, let's get to this past week. Oh.
That's true.
So let's go over this past week real quick. I'm going to pull up my notes real quick as well because I do like having my notes ready to go. So, alright, past week, week 6. Broncos beat the Patriots in what became who's got the best kicker. Dolphins destroyed the Jets, winning 24-0. We're going to talk about that game later. Ravens were able to hold on and beat the Eagles. Titans pretty much handed their business with the Texans. Colts made the magical comeback over the Bengals. Falcons got the first win of the year over the Vikings, so I'm surprised the Vikings have not fired their head coach yet. Giants also got the first win of the year, beating Washington. Steelers demolished the Cleveland Browns badly. That game was over before halftime. Bears defense steps up again and beats the Panthers. Lions get another W this week as they beat the Jags. The Packers got obliterated by the Packers after the Buccaneers. Let me repeat that. Rewind. Packers got obliterated by the Buccaneers after the Packers started out good. Niners got a big win they needed over the Rams. The Chiefs handled their business with the Bills, and the Cards did beat my Cowboys on Monday. So I went 8-6 this past week in 8-6, and for the season I am 61.
5-9.
Whoo!
Because I had let's see, I had the Jets beating the Finns. Oh wait, what am I? Wow, yeah, I had the Packers beating the Bucks, but that didn't happen.
No, it did not.
The Browns beating the Steelers, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen either.
The Bills beating the Chiefs, and the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard what happened. We got demolished, but like I said, couldn't watch it, so I can't talk about it. That would be breaking my code. But let's talk about the games I know we both did watch. First one, Broncos and Patriots. Wow, that was a talk about you feel sorry for yourself if you had them on your if you had any of them on your fantasy team, unless it was the kicker. Because that was straight up who's got the best kicker. And so if you love kicking and defense, that was probably one of the better games this past week. But if you love high scoring points, that was not the game for you. Dolphins and Jets.
Speaking of the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the kicker for Broncos, he played for Syracuse University, SU. He was the kicker for SU.
Well, Syracuse did something right, apparently.
Yeah.
Dolphins and Jets. I'm going to say this, and we're going to talk about it more later. Dolphins dominated. Dolphins actually look like a legit team at the moment. We'll discuss what they did with the quarterback. And we're going to discuss the Jets as well, because Jets are doing something I don't like when teams do it. Because I think it's a slap in the face to the fan base, and I think it's a slap in the face to fantasy owners and pickers everywhere. Something that, and I will bring up the thing I think will make tanking stop completely. Because it kind of has stopped in the NBA because of how they do things now, but I think NFL should at least copy this or do something I would like to see done. But Bengals and Colts, wow, Bengals, what the hell happened? You had that game pretty much in hand, and then you choked. Period. Falcons, yeah. Congratulations. Guess what? You finally won a game, so everyone play the party music.
La, la.
Last one I really want to discuss is the Steelers and Browns. That was
Can
a
we talk about the
train wreck.
Packers? Can you talk about the Packers? Oh, sorry. So can we talk about the Packers and Bucks real quick?
Oh, we can go to
How
that
the
as well.
fuck did it? Sorry, sorry. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. You're starting that one.
How in the fuck did you let Tom Brady whip your ass? And I jinxed Aaron Rodgers say he won't win their sex, and look what happened. He got picked 6. So
I think what happened was, because I watched that game, the Packers in the first quarter looked good, but I think what caught up with them was Brady's offense has so many weapons on there, and B,
yep.
the Buccaneers defense played really well after that first quarter. I think what also hurts Green Bay, and it's something I hear Packer fans say all the time, and I have to agree with them. Aaron Rodgers, if you've noticed, doing every year the Packers he's played, I would say excluding maybe the year they won the Super Bowl, he has never had 5 or 4-star talent around him for wide receivers or running back.
That's true.
It's kind of like with Phillip Rivers and when he played for the Chargers all those years, or Dan Marino with the Dolphins. They mostly got carried to the playoffs because of the quarterback or defense, not because of the surrounding pieces. And that's one thing I will say. You can make the playoffs with a great quarterback, but it's going to be hard to win a Super Bowl if you don't give him other pieces. Yes, I know Philly, yeah, they won. I think they were in the right magical moment, right time, mystery offense that helped them. Plus their defense was good. Of course, we've seen the opposite of that. A team who's got a bunch of good offensive players like Atlanta choke in the second half and lose to the Patriots. And we've seen Patriots win games with not a lot, but let's remember they had Brady, Gronk, and all that as well when they won one. Of course, then you could also go with the Ravens, but I would say this. Ravens, both of their Super Bowl wins was not because of the offense. It was because they had a great defense. So me personally, I'm going to say this. I think you need to go to have a great defense, or you need a lot of key 4-star players on offense. Chiefs would be a great example of that because their defense, while not the greatest in the Super Bowl history, their offense was probably one of the better offenses in Super Bowl history because, Mahomes, tight end, wide receivers, running back, and now, of course, they're now more dangerous because they have Mr. Bell on the team who gets to play in this week. So that's going to be very interesting. And what's even interesting, guess who the Chiefs play in a few weeks? The Jets. That's going to be a revenge game because everyone believes the Jets misused him. We're going to find out if that's true or not, which is probably true.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he's going to have a baby girl.
Congratulations to him and his fiancée, wife, whatever it is. Getting to the notes this week before we get to what I want to rip the Jets for. First, Steelers linebacker Devin Bush tore his ACL and will require season-ending surgery, so he is out for the rest of the season. Cam Newton joins Michael Vick as the only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history to have 5,000 rushing yards, so congratulations to him. I'm sure he would give up those 5,000 yards, and so would Vick if they could get a Super Bowl ring. Jets traded veteran DT Steven McLendon, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, to the Buccaneers. More injury news to report. Titans left tackle Taylor Lumen confirmed he tore his ACL during the Titans win over Houston. T.Y. Sam replaced Lou on Sunday against the Texans and struggled. Lou is expected a quick recovery in the hope is he is ready for training camp next year. Going to what is the worst division in the NFL, which is unfortunately my division, Eagles tight end Zach Ertz is expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain, per ESPN's Chris M. And running back Miles Sanders is expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks with a knee injury. So that whole division feels like The Walking Dead at this point, because everybody's got somebody out to the point to where it's ridiculous, and it's mostly the key positions. I know someone's going to say, well, every position in football is key. Let's be honest. There's key positions and then key positions. Key positions and then key positions. Key positions would be receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, linebackers, cornerbacks, and then you have the other key positions which no one really cares about. Raiders signed former Cowboys DL David Irving to the practice squad. Rams also signed former Cowboys kicker Kai Forbath. Teams with a bye this week. So if any of these you have any of these following players on your bye week, please remember to edit your teams on fantasy. That way you don't get screwed. Dolphins, Vikings, Ravens, and the Colts have a bye this week. Now, there's two more things we need to talk about in the notes real quick, and both of them are very big for many different reasons. First, we're going to Miami. Meowie, 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 meowie. Yes, I can't sing. If you want good singing, go watch American Idol, okay? And the first one, it is involving the Miami Dolphins. As rookie quarterback Tua... Okay, Dave, you know how to pronounce his name better than I do. The new Miami Dolphins quarterback.
Sorry. Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No. The rookie going in.
Oh, Tua Tango.
Thank you, because if I pronounce it, I would be butchering it. It was announced he would be taking over as the Miami Dolphins starting quarterback next week in Week 8 against the Rams, as the head coach announced this week. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick sent this out today. My heart just hurts all day. It was heartbreaking for me. I've been a starter. I've been benched all kinds of different ways. But this one just really more so than any other. I just felt fully committed and invested and felt like it was my team. Now here's the thing with this. Normally, I could, I can understand you want to put the rookie in. But here's the thing though. Ryan Fitzpatrick's been playing great football this year, believe it or not. And that's the most surprising thing. I think he's like 8th or 9th quarterback for passer rating right now in the league. So he's having a good year. And he did lead Miami to, so far, believe it or not, one of their better records they've had in years, as I believe they are 3-3 right now, so they are at 500. I'm gonna double check that record. So I'm kind of shocked they did this, particularly because now it's going to be a question: how does that flow Does the team stay in the flow they've been, or does it completely throw the team out of motion and out of what they were doing? Because now, hey, we got the rookie quarterback in. Yes, I know everyone's going to say, well, you got to start him eventually. Me personally, with the way Ryan Fitzpatrick's been playing, I probably would not played him till either Ryan Fitzpatrick got injured, or B, till, to be honest, Ryan Fitzpatrick started going back to what he known to be. The journeyman quarterback, because he hasn't been playing like a journeyman quarterback this year. He's actually played very well. Okay, Miami is 3-3. And if you want to know this, I'm pulling up the stats for Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick. If I can actually find them. There we go, stats. Remember, I like to give you all.
But if it wasn't for Ryan, they wouldn't be 3-3.
I kind of have to agree with that. I don't think they would be 3-3 if it, right now. Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's completed about 70% of his passes. He's got 1,535 yards. He's got 10 TDs, but he's also thrown 7 interceptions. He's been sacked 10 times as well, but he's really played well. So I do disagree. And by the way, he also has rushed for 135 yards. And he's got 2 rushing TDs as a quarterback. So keep that in mind. I do think they should have not did this as well, because they're right in the hunt for the standings right now. I mean, Buffalo's at 1, and then it's them at 2. Which, it's funny when New England's 2-3, and you're like, wow, they're actually playing terrible. It's pretty, and this is what I'm just going to say this, it's pretty bad when Cleveland's got a better record than New England. Granted, I'm sure if you moved the Patriots to the NFC East, they might actually be able to win it. Let a job there. So, but I do get why you would start Tannehill. Hey, Mr. Jones. Jones is going to pick the Giants. We will get to that. Me and Dave will get to that game in a minute or so. I get why you want to start the rookie, though, because you want to see what he can do. But personally, I would have just kept running the Fitzmagic train until it ran out of juice. Dave, you have anything to add to that?
No, they just damn dirty. I'll be asked for a trade, and that
Did
was
it?
me. I'll be pissed.
Did him dirty, alright.
You know.
Fair enough. Well,
That's
before
just me.
we get to the picks, and Mr. Jones, you may have not been able to hear this today because it broke earlier today. Good old Antonio Brown. Everybody remembers that crazy son of a bitch, right? Well, his suspension is over after week 8, and there are teams looking to sign him. Right now, the favorite is the Seattle Seahawks, are now positioned to make a push to sign him. Unfortunately, they are not alone. Now, of course, Seattle's main advantage is that Russell Wilson and Geno Smith are friends with Antonio Brown, so that could play a key factor. However, a few other names have popped up as well. Included the Bills, surprisingly. Let's see, the Steelers, and another team is the Chicago Bears as well. So, question of the video, guys. Where would you like to see Antonio Brown go? And make it a legit pick. Don't say, well, my team. A legit pick on where you think Antonio Brown is going. Me personally, it's going to hurt the 49ers, but I'm going to say he's going to Seattle because he's best friends with the quarterbacks there. Plus, I think Pete Carroll might be able to get... Well, okay, Pete Carroll may not be able to get his insanity in check, but I think if he's around his friends, maybe he won't be as crazy. Keyword, as crazy.
I say the Steelers.
You say he goes back to Pittsburgh.
Bygones.
We'll see.
Let bygones be bygones. You know?
I will say if that happens, if he ends up back in Pittsburgh, I think I would die of a heart attack, personally, because I would be like, never in a million years I thought that would have happened. Okay, before we get to the game, we have one more thing to discuss, and I kind of hinted at it already. The New York Jets, I think it's officially safe to say they are now the worst team in the NFL, since they're the only team who's not won a game. And I'm going to say this, it looks like to me they're tanking on purpose, because they really did not even bother to show up at all this week against Miami. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're going to show up this week because who did the Jets play? The Bills. We'll get to that game later, so I'm going to say this. The Jets are purposely trying to fail and tank to get that #1 pick. Rumor has it that's the plan because of the fact that they want to get the Clemson quarterback, so I think they've already given up on the Sam Darnold experience. And I'm going to say,
I don't know.
Ruin that franchise. You know, and I have a lot of people on Facebook, you know, who are Jets fans and some sports groups I'm in. They said this is one of the worst years they've went through in a very long time. And I have to agree, this is really, I hate saying this, as much as we make, oh, Dave. Dave will be back now, probably network error code. But here's the thing, with the Jets. I can at least look at the 0-16 Lions and say they were competitive. I can at least look at the 0-16 Browns and say they were competitive in some of their games. Mr. Jones, oh God, Mr. Jones says Antonio Brown goes to the New York Jets. If that happens, I would die of laughter. But
I don't know. I still say the Steelers and the Chiefs.
You did say the Chiefs off stream. You did. But I would say this, at least like I just said, because Dave didn't get to hear it, when the Lions went 0-16, at least they were competitive in all their games. When Cleveland went 0-16, they were competitive in some of their games. The New York Jets,
Yeah,
I hate saying this, have not been competitive in any fucking game. And I'm sorry, you bench Sam Darnold to put Joe Falco in. As much as I love Mr. Falco, who is a former Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, he's not going to get you back there. I feel sorry for the Jets players. I feel sorry for the Jets fan base because they are the worst team right now. And I'm going to say this. I don't think they should be getting the #1 pick because they're tanking. And I'm going to say this. If they make it to week 10 and they still haven't won a game, the NFL should do the right thing and say, yeah, we're not handing you the first pick because you're tanking on purpose. And I'm going to say this. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of the NBA on occasions because there's no defense, I like how they have who gets the first pick. You take all the losers and put them in a lottery. I don't think that would exactly work in the NFL. But I think to me personally, and this is something I believed in years, and Mr. Jones and Dave, you can say yes or no to this as well. To me, I think the first pick shouldn't go to the worst team in the league. No, it should go to the team who was almost in the playoffs. So it would have, who was like that one game away on the outside looking in. Award a team who actually almost made it to the playoffs instead of awarding a team who purposely lost. And that's what I hate about That's what I'm going to hate about week 14, 15, 16, and 17. Because there's going to be teams who already know they ain't making the playoffs. They're going to purposely lose those games so they can tank and get a better pick. I don't like that because I think that is a slap in the face to not only the players. I think that's a slap in the face to fantasy owners because it means why have you on them if they know you're going to tank. It's a slap to the fans because it's like, why would you even want to watch if you're tanking? And I'm going to say this, it's a slap to the other teams who actually are trying to win and actually build towards something instead of, we give up.
Yeah, like the Falcons, at least they're trying to win, not like the Jets. We're gonna lose on purpose.
Exactly. At least
they're actually winning. They're actually trying to win.
I'm with you. At least with Atlanta, you can see yes, they've blown games, but at least they were leading and they tried to win. Vikings have tried to win. I can't say that with the Jets, and I'm sorry. I don't see the Jets really wanting to win anymore, and I don't mean to be a dick to the Jets fans, but to me, it's the truth, nothing but the truth, and as the Dr. Style Slickster has said, I speak nothing but the truth, hey, hey, hey. So yeah, there is that. I wanted to get that off my chest. I don't like what the Jets are doing. I wish the NFL would eliminate that, the worst team gets it. Because here's the other thing that makes me sad. If the Jets do get the #1 pick, which is the odds-on favorite, that Clemson quarterback's career is going to be dead. Because have you looked at the Jets' offense? It's one of the worst offenses in the league, and they don't have the excuse of they got injuries. What it is the Jets have the worst coach in the NFL. And I still don't get how he still has his job. He should have been fired after week 3.
And I want to say this to Trevor Lawrence. Stay your ass in school for another year. Stay in school.
Well, he can't. I don't think. So I think this is his final year. So I think he knows he's probably going to the Jets. He better hope to God he can pull an Eli Manning and say, I don't want to play. I don't want to play for them. I'm going to go somewhere else or not play.
The only way to do it is someone trade the #1 pick for like JJ Watt or some shit.
Apparently they were trying to trade for Jets were trying to trade Sam Darnold away, but anyway, let's get to what we came here to do. The picks this week. So let's hit the road, and the first one is tomorrow night. It is the Giants at the Eagles. Both teams are in a division where you could win it as a 7-9, so really no pressure. Giants got the first one of the season this past week over Washington. Eagles almost made the comeback but lost to Baltimore, and we just said Philly's got some injuries. This is really one of those games to where you're not watching because it's great offense, great teams. You're watching this game because both teams equally suck, and you want to see the train wreck. Because this is going to be a train wreck. I had a hard time picking this one because of Philly's injuries. But I think Philly's just barely good enough. Because I think they got a little bit of a better run game and a little bit of a better defense to beat the Giants. Am I confident in this pick? Oh, hell no. But I am taking the Eagles at home.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he's a third year in. He's in the third year in the Clemson. He got one more year to go. He wants one more year to leave. He wants to leave that one more year. But I got Giants over Eagles.
So you got the Giants, all right, and Dave's got the Giants as well. All right, moving on. Okay, now we're just putting it here because it's the Steelers game. We're actually going to go down. So before we talk about the Battle of Ohio, let's talk about the game that's not on this list. Steelers versus Titans. By the way, while we discussed this, of course, remember this was the game that was supposed to be played earlier in the week. In the season, but it got moved around because everybody decided to get the T-virus and become zombies. Brains. By the way, just to give everyone a heads up, currently right now, Vegas has the Eagles favored by 4.5 points. By the way, that game is on Fox tomorrow night. So let's talk about the Titans and Steelers. Both teams undefeated. To me personally, this is the game of the week. And the Titans are favored by 1 point. I'm going with the Steelers here, guys. Steelers, to me personally, have looked like the better team on all sides of the ball. When the offense plays well, they win games. When the offense is playing bad and the defense plays great, they've won games. To me, I think the Titans, while yes, I'll applaud them for being 5-0, I don't look at them as a team who can legit hang with one of the better teams in the AFC and overall the NFL. I think Steelers win this game. Steelers improve to 6-0. And get ready, and then they get ready to face Baltimore next week. Dave?
I disagree. I got the Titans because who's gonna stop the run off it? Who's gonna stop the running game? The Steelers got no chance against the running game. You ain't stopping Derrick Henry.
That is true, but I think if my game plan was, I wouldn't be worried about the running game stop the quarterback. Because eventually, because he'll make mistakes. He's known for making mistakes. To where, get a few picks here and there, they'll have to abandon the run game when they're down big.
Yeah.
So you got the Titans, I got the Steelers. Mr. Jones will put his answer in for the Steelers and Titans later. Up next, it is the Battle of Ohio as the Cleveland Browns head to WKRP Cincinnati. Well, it's not raining turkeys yet, but it might be raining jack-o'-lanterns. Cleveland is currently favored by 3.5 points. By the way, all these games we're talking about right now at 1 o'clock. I am taking the Browns here. I think this is a bounce-back game for them personally. Bengals really young team rebuilding. I think Cleveland gets a nice, easy bounce-back win.
I have the Browns.
You have the Browns. Mr. Jones has the Browns, and Mr. Jones also has the Titans as well. Speaking of easy bounce-back games, if it goes the way they want, it is the 4-1 Packers taking on the 1-5 Texans. Green Bay is currently favored by 3.5 points. I'm taking the Packers here. I think this is another one of those situations to where bounce-back game, you're playing a team who's really been struggling all year long, not really a team that you shouldn't have to be worried about defensively. Now, offensively, Texans have weapons. They got a great quarterback. He's going to put up the numbers on you. So Green Bay needs to be warned, though. If this goes to a shootout, Texans can steal the win, but I think Green Bay bounces back, does its job. Green Bay wins on the road.
I have the Texans over the Packers with an upset.
Oh, wow, that's your upset pick of the week?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Let's see if it comes to true. Mr. Jones says Packers let me down this past week. Yeah, I think they let everybody down. I'm watching Corbin. Okay. I actually got to put that up on my phone.
Baron Corbin. I
don't want to think about Baron Corbin. Don't give me nightmares, please. But I got the Packers on the show. Mr. Jones will put his answer in for the Packers at Texans. All right. No Chargers or Dolphins game this week because of what's going on. So we head to the next game on the list, which is the Lions and Falcons. This game is a definition of crap. And unfortunately, it's not the only one because we got a lot of crappy 1 o'clock games this week. I'll put it like this. The two best 1 o'clock games we get is the Titans and Steelers and the Panthers and Saints. All the other 1 o'clock games are between a team whose one's been playing great versus a team who's probably not making the playoffs or getting a winning record, or it's against two teams who are barely alive. And this is the second one, the ones that are barely alive, as it is the 2-3 Lions against the 1-5 Falcons. Now, surprisingly, Atlanta is favored again at 2.5 points. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Lions here. I can't believe I'm going to say this. They technically have the better coach because the coach hasn't been fired yet. And then, of course, Lions, I think, defensively have played a little better. And guess what? Detroit knows how to hold on to a lead. Dave?
Oh, I have the Lions over Falcons.
Okay. Mr. Jones says, okay, I'm going to have to go with the Packers, and yes, I was going to watch a Baron Corbin match over the Packers game because they let me down. Hashtag get up Green Bay. moving on to one of the better games I think we're going to get this week, at least in the early game, that's not Titans and Steelers. It is the Carolina Panthers against the New Orleans Saints. Panthers are 3-3. Saints are 3-2. By the way, the Saints will have fans at the home game this weekend, as that was announced yesterday that they can have fans in the stadium. Saints are currently favored by 7.5 points. And if I didn't mention this, the Titans are favored by 1 point. I just wanted to give that out there. But Saints are favored pretty much by a touchdown and an extra point. Pretty much. I am taking the Saints here. I love the Panthers. I love what Teddy Bridgewater's been doing. But it's showing that since they don't have their key running back, it's been not a great year for them. They've been having up and downs. I think Saints have their own issues on offense. I have to go with Drew Brees as well. So I'm going with Drew Brees at home with the fans.
I have the Saints over Panthers.
Yeah, the Saints as well. All right, and Mr. Jones says, as for the Lions versus Falcons game, I'm going to have to go with the Lions. Yeah, Falcons won on a hiccup. I agree with that, and unfortunately, I think there's no scary clown to help them this week. Up next, another train wreck game this week, and unfortunately, it involves my team. I hate saying that. It is the Dallas Cowboys at 2-4, who, ironically enough, guess what? They're still in lead in the division. Take on the 1-5 Washington Redskins, aka Washington football team, aka Washington the horse with no name. La 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 la. Yeah, this is an interesting game. A few weeks ago, I would have been very confident because Dak was going to be playing, Zeke and all that. But I'm going to be honest here. This is not an easy game for Dallas like it would have been 3 weeks ago. Zeke's not been playing well. I heard he's been fumbling the ball a lot this year. Andy Dalton from
Butterfingers.
Yeah, he's been having Butterfinger issues. Andy Dalton, from what I was told, did not have a good Monday night game in his first real game as a starter since he played for Cincinnati. So hopefully those are just game one jitters, and all that. Dallas has been banged up with injuries all year, just like Washington. I think the two teams with actually, ironically enough, when I looked this up, and this ain't going to surprise Dave at all, the two teams that lead the league with injuries right now, last I looked, were the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. Yeah. And the record shows it, doesn't it?
Yep.
And Dallas is favored by 1 point. We know I'm going to pick the Cowboys anyway because that is my team. I've ride with my team through the bad and good years. I'm hoping Dallas turns it around here, because if not, Dallas is going to have to look at himself in the mirror and figure out what is wrong exactly. Now, I know there's been a little bit of locker room drama because, some of the players who don't want to be named don't like the coaching staff right now. But that's what happens when you're when you're losing. The team starts to vote against the coach. I'm surprised we haven't seen that with the Jets yet. But we have seen it with Atlanta. We've seen it with the Vikings. We've seen it with the Texans. So I'm hoping Cowboys win. Do I feel confident right now? No, but let's be honest. Does anyone really feel confident with anybody who, if you say, hey, we made the playoffs, we get our bonus money? That's pretty much what it is at this point. For those 4 teams, because they're not. I don't think neither one is going to win a playoff game. Whoever wins the division. But Dave, who do you got? Cowboys or Washington?
I have the Cowboys. That make it.
And I'm going to be honest. I think Washington's probably got the better defense because Dallas' defense is ranked dead bottom, but Washington's offense is not that great. The one thing Dallas can say, Bills against the 0-6 Jets. Now, I'd just like to point out here before we continue, this game has the highest points favored out of all the games this week, as the Buffalo Bills are favored by 13 points.
Damn.
This is my lock of the week. I am going with the Bills, and if anyone picks the Jets, you need to take a drug test because you would have to be on crack. It's pretty sad. I'm sure if I go to one of the sports groups I'm on Facebook, I ask the Jets fans, do you think the Jets are going to win? They're going to be like, oh, hell no.
Wow. But yeah, I got the Bills over the Jets.
Dave, okay, so you got the Bills as well. Mr. Jones says I'm going with the Cowboys. And my thing is, I think they learned their lesson on that ass whooping this past week. Fair enough. Let's see if they did. Moving on to the first game, the first late game, which is at 4:05. It is the undefeated Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle